Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here's her story. Hi Ollie, your videos are so informative, and I finally decided to send in some of my story, not all of it. I wish to remain anonymous. I have been in a long-term marriage to a narcissist, recently diagnosed from afar by my therapist as probably a sociopath as well. I recently filed for divorce and I am now renting a second residence, although my narcissist husband and I take turns moving in and out of the family home to allow our daughter the last year of high school there. We do not overlap by court order. This order has followed a restraining order, which I was convinced to drop and agree to a lesser type of order which does not carry the threat of arrest for my husband if he violates it. However, in the past couple of months, he has not attempted to. After many years of much abuse, I am finally nearing the end of my portion of the divorce process. I am sure there are many months ahead when he will stonewall, deny me justice, and attempt to smear me, as he has already done in the past. Without going into too much detail, there was an episode of physical violence which resulted in a minor injury not requiring mental attention. I did not call the police when this occurred. There was another incident 10 months later in which I felt my safety was very much threatened. We were out of state and there were no witnesses, so once again, I neglected to inform the authorities. However, there were many other threats, for example, that he would sell our family home and take our kids out of the country, change the locks on the door. At one point, I did ask the local sheriff to come to my house and explain my rights to this individual. Of course, when the sheriff came, my husband denied all his verbal attacks and threats, and the sheriff left somewhat perplexed. Well, then the sheriff's an idiot, because if he's never heard a spouse lying, then he should just give it up. And this is why you should always record. The portion of my story which I wanted to share with you and your viewers has to do with an email that I received now that we no longer see one another. We have only one child in common who is still living at home. The older one is in college, therefore there is almost no reason for me to continue to maintain any sort of relationship with this person. I have been using the last several months of relative freedom again, my self-confidence and my self-worth. There is nothing I want from him except to be left alone. The email I received was simply classic narcissist. I felt that perhaps I could relate. I felt perhaps others could relate. In essence, he said that he had been using our time apart to work on himself, and he now understood my fear of him, which had driven me away. His biggest regret was that I could not return to him when I was expecting this fear. So now we understand. Oh, you're not supposed to hit your wife or get physically violent. Now I get it. I just needed to be apart from you for a while. Oh, is that wrong? There's a George Costanza move. When he gets caught banging the housekeeper and the boss is telling him he's fired for banging the housekeeper on his desk, and his response was that wrong? Should I not have done that? Yes, stupid. You should have not have done that. Time apart helped him realize domestic abuse is wrong. Wow. Ollie, of course I told him that he was scaring the daylights out of me and the police stopped. I told him exactly what the problem had been and that it was never acceptable for a partner to harm the person they claim to love the most. Instead, when he hurt me, he told me that I had caused him to do this and that he could have me arrested, that he could have me arrested and taken away by men in white coats. For that reason alone, I decided not to call the authorities because he had turned my physical injury into another way to threaten me. In his email, he also claimed to have been reading copious books and seeing a therapist, which I know to be a lie because my own therapist was in contact with his, whom he had seen 4 times in total in 1 year. He also said he had been going to support groups. Not once in this email did he apologize or express any remorse for the harm he had caused me. Instead, he again reiterated his version of events, particularly the second time when he tried to harm me in a driving incident. He restated his claim that he had simply pulled over too fast rather than try to drive me into a row of parked cars. Oh, allergy wheeze. Yet he claimed to want to work on our relationship and asked me to drop the divorce. He also asserted that everyone we knew wanted us to get back together. Not once did he ask if I would like to get back together with him. In addition, he admitted that he had repeatedly told me I was mentally ill for accusing him of doing anything untoward at me. He claims to now understand that calling me mental ill had been driving me crazy. Well, yes, to repeatedly be told that because when you're being abused and the other person denies it, you must have a mental illness will, in fact, drive you crazy over time. I feel that I just left in time to save my sanity. Not once did he mention that his claims were untrue or that he regretted making them. One of my favorite lines is that the way I acted was wrong because it was wrong to you. Not simply that it was wrong to basically anyone with an understanding of civilized society, or that his actions had won me a restraining order, which was not only negated when he told a pack of lies to the judge, which was only negated when he told a pack of lies to the judge in a sworn court document. Anyway, this email was totally absurd and unbelievable. It simply reinforced my impression that this person is beyond ever changing and does not belong in my life. He is dangerous. Sadly, my family has not been supportive, and when I stayed for one night at my sister's house, she informed me the next day I would be more comfortable at a short-term rental closer to my work. I was physically sickened by this, as I have allowed her to stay in my home many, many times, babysat her children, gave her free advice in my profession, fed her, and created magical holidays for her. It was devastating. Before I obtained my more permanent rental, in fact, I did spend many, many hundreds of dollars to stay in hotels and short-term rentals to avoid her and her judgmental stance. I could go on and on. I stayed with my narcissistic husband far too long because my own parents informed me that I would regret leaving and that marriages go through ups and downs, but should be forever, even if he's hitting you. This should all tell you why you ended up with him to begin with, why you have such low self-esteem, and why you put up with this. Because look how your own family treats you as a throwaway. That is why the email from this malignant narcissist is actually extremely helpful in my healing process. He admitted that in the past he would laugh at my claims of abuse and said he was not sympathetic because when he called me names, he thought to himself that I had done far worse to him. Ollie, I only had one incident in which I accused him of being lazy and used a word beginning with the letter F that, of course, I am not proud of. What? Fuck? Who cares? But he once called me he had called me a bitch on numerous occasions and then denied it and turned it back on me that I deserved it. It is totally sickening to think back on the many years of my life that I wasted with this person. I stayed only for the ability to keep my children under the same roof as myself on a full-time basis. I realized that in my state, men and women often receive 50-50 custody. What I did not know was that as I, in fact, had him arrested for domestic violence or had been able to maintain the restraining order, he would receive no custody whatsoever. My point in sharing this story is try to help others reclaim their right to emotional and physical safety at the hands of a narcissist. They do not wait, do not allow the abuse to worsen. It will. And then your narcissist will deny it and blame you for your own horrific treatment by them. I am trying to be at peace with all my decisions, and the fact that I waited such a long time to be free. I hope that I have enough of an opportunity here on earth to make the most and the best of it, perhaps someone who will actually love and value me. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you and all your viewers. I appreciate all that you do for others. Anonymous. This is why you call the cops the first time the narcissist puts their hands on you. Because it'll get out of control. But understand why you ended up here. How your family treats you in the time of need tells you why you're here to begin with. Record everything, and the second the narcissist puts his hands on you, puts their hands on you, you call the police and document everything. You'd have gotten out a lot sooner. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your story. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry my voice is going like this. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, or a narcissist you'd like to expose, you know what to do with the PayPal and my email links in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon.